and I made a lot of money. And so that's what I did. I'm a college dropout. I went to college and I got my MRS. You know what that means? I met my husband and got married. So I only went to college for 1 year, and so the only skill I had, was I was tall. And so I did do that, and I did make a lot of money. However, I spent it all. And so when I found Mary Kay at 22 years old, I had maxed out 6 credit cards. I was really good at spending. And so I don't know if you have people like that you ever know, but that was me. I was lost. I lost my confidence because I didn't graduate from college. And I just lost a whole lot of confidence, even though I was in front of our camera all the time. I did go back to school a little bit and was able to be a substitute teacher. And so I did that for a while, and that's what people usually talk about because I think that's easier to relate to than what I really did. But, because I want to be relatable. But anyway, so in 1973 I joined Mary Kay. The company was 10 years old. And it was Mary Who, and we were still going to be in business, next year, we could define this kind of thing and all that. But I want you to know, I was probably the worst consultant. I had no self-confidence. I had no, I just thought my life was over. I had maxed up these credit cards. Every argument in our household was about money, and I was married to a banker. Okay, where the checks bounced. Okay, not so good. They used to have a list at the bank of people do not cash check for these people because they don't have money in their account.
So funny.
And my name was on the list of my husband's bank.
That is so funny.
Really, really great. Thank you. And so my husband deserves to be, to be retired at 44. He hasn't worked since he was 44, and hey, man, he put up with me back then. I can take care of him now. Because sometimes we look for somebody who's all together, and I was such a mess. On the outside, I had it, but on the inside, I was a mess. And my director changed my life. She paid attention to me. She taught me things. She would put me in her car and take me to Miami and drive for 3 hours each way and talk to me. I watched her, when people would point at her pink car, I would watch her and how she reacted. She didn't get upset like I would. She would just wave to them and say, they see her pink car, and I'm thinking, Gail, they're making fun of us. But she didn't care. She just gave them kindness. So I learned kindness from that one-on-one relationship. I grew up because of my relationship with my director. That's how very important it is what we do. It really is. My first skincare class lasted 7 hours. Wasn't really any success, but I want you to know, even though I was at 0 skincare class, I didn't sell a thing, I have 2 national sales records from that skincare class. Wow. That didn't happen that day, but a year later, that hostess who had 0 class joined Mary Kay. Go figure. She watched me work 7 hours. I didn't sell a thing, and she joined. People are not logical. But she did join, and she recruited someone named Linda. Linda recruited someone named Pat. Pat moved to North Carolina. She recruited her neighbor because she needed one more person to become a director. And so she recruited Lana, and Lana decided she wanted to become director, and she recruited her cousin, Linda McGuire. Wow. Yeah, there she is right there. And then Linda has Pat Osprey, Kristen Myers. That came from my very first skincare class, 0 cents. Wow. And I want to say to people, just hang in there. You just keep going because you don't know what's out there, what God has for you. You have no idea. During the time I was building my national area, I decided my sister needed to be a part of Mary Kay because she had never really had a chance in the world, and I wanted to give her a chance, and she told me she would never join Mary Kay. So she said, I would join Mary Kay when you win a pink Cadillac. So I won my pink Cadillac, drove it 5 hours from South Florida to Daytona Beach. I parked it sideways on her front manicured yard and blew the horn. And she came running out of the house and said, you move that car. And I said, I will. It cost $100 to move this car. And she didn't get a Mary Kay consultant that day. She is an executive senior sales rep. And her offspring, one of her offsprings is National Sales Director Sylvia Calicat. And so you just don't know what you're doing. I only wanted to help my sister who never had a chance in life. And so, but as a result, God blessed me. So you just have no idea. My very first offspring I ever had was a little quirky. And eventually she ended up living on a nudist colony. that's what Mary Kay wanted us to do. She wanted us to focus on building people and focus on building leaders. And so we didn't have a unit. And then all of a sudden one day, I got a phone call from the company, and they said, Cheryl, we decided to give you back your unit. You are it. You are the unit. There was no one in your unit. Those 250 people that I had when they made me give them up had all gone away and were put in other people's unit. And they said, you're it. Good luck. And so I got the phone and thought, okay, I've done this once. I can do this again. I'm sure I can. And so I went to church, you know, and I was doing life, right? Walked into church and covered dish supper at church. Had my little kids. They were probably, I don't know, 12 and maybe, I don't know, 9. 12 and 9. Walked into church. And there was a woman sitting there with her children. And my husband was late, as always. You know, always late for everything. Driving from downtown. He never be on time for the church supper. So I looked, and she was sitting with her children, and I thought, I bet her husband's late too. We both married people who are never on time. So I sat down with her, and I said, is your husband late too? And she said, yeah. And I said, oh, let's sit together, then we'll wait for our men. And I said, what do you do? And you know when you ask people what do they do, what do they do? What do they ask you next?
What do you do?
What do you do? And she said, what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm so excited. I've just had an opportunity to start Mary Kay all over again and build a unit here in Tampa. I've just moved here, and I need your help. And her college roommate was Kathy Littlejohn.
Wow.
And so what I want you to know is that you don't know what's out there for you. You just have no idea the abundance that God has for you. And I just want to close with this one thought. Keep it simple. Just keep it simple. You know, this is not a difficult business. I think we need to get off the internet. I think we need to get into our people. And you know, it's General Patton said 90% of the population dies when they're in their 40s, and they're buried when they're in their 70s.
Wow.
And what we have to do is we must be able to wake up those sleeping giants in people, because they're there. We need to identify them, and they come looking like I did. Scared, afraid, insecure. They come disguised. They might not be ready right now, people. I was not. But I'm here now, and so are you. Thank you.